just do everything you can to get your arms around this thing so you can make a clear-headed decision. And that's good. And that's not what Mitchell Chester's doing. And he's the one who's going to decide whether this works or not. I don't understand how it is fair to us, the stewards of our schools here at Peabody, that the man who is going to be ultimately responsible for the decision on deciding whether Park is better than MCAS, and I'm going to say it again, MCAS is the proven best system in the country. If we were some underperforming state, I might be willing to kind of wink, wink, nod, nod, and take a shot. But we're being asked to give up the best system in the country, one of the best of any country in the world, for a promise, for a theory, for something that's untested, for about a decision that's going to be made by someone who is on the governing board of the test that's going to replace the best system itself. Folks, you're fair-minded. That's all I'm saying we should ask of Mitchell Chester. Follow your gut on this. Just as we did back in 2010, when Race to the Top was brought to us, this committee voted to reject the money, and we took a whacking in the editorial paper for it. How could Peabody turn their nose up at $300,000 in these terrible economic times? It's an outrage to the taxpayers. But we knew in our gut that something bad was coming down the tracks, and we were right, and this is it. This is it. If we don't speak up, we know enough. We know enough that he should step down at a minimum from his position on the park. We know that. We wouldn't stand for this in our line of work. We wouldn't let a drug manufacturer be the one who decides if it's good for the patients and safe and would do no harm. We have outside agencies, objective agencies who analyze these things and make these decisions. We don't let car companies go out and make dangerous cars and decide whether they're safe. We have agencies that look at this objectively and look at data. Here we have the most monumental change in Massachusetts at a time when we have something that's really working well, and the person who's put in charge of it is on the opponent's team. All I want, and I demand this, is objectivity. Now, let's be realistic. If this motion passes, do I really think Governor Patrick's going to march into Mitchell's office and say, hey, Peabody School Committee says you're out, get these things packed and go? Of course not. But what tools do we have at our disposal to make a statement that this is wrong? You know it's wrong. You feel it's wrong. And I understand, because you're good, compassionate, thoughtful people, that you're saying, geez, this seems a little drastic. You bet your butt it's drastic. We didn't ask for this fight. I sure as heck didn't. I just as soon come here every night and talk about turf fields. Right? That's great. This was put in our laps, and I'm telling you, as sure as I'm sitting here, with my 18 plus years on this committee and nearly 60 years on this planet, this stinks. This game is rigged. This is not about education. It's about money and power. Right to the top. Follow the money. This is a bad system. Guys, you're good folks. In this instance, you might be too good for our own good. Because we need to do something with the resources we have. We need to send a message. We don't tolerate this. This is not right. It's not right for our schools. It's not what we were elected to do. We're supposed to watch over these schools. And getting more research, having Mitchell Chester come here, you know what? Since he's the guy who's leading an executive workshop in handling dissenters, my guess is if he was here, he'd handle us pretty good. He's the best in the country. He's given a seminar on it. So what would you expect him to say? Guys, if you feel it in your gut, and I know you do, I know you feel it in your gut, have him resign from Park. Come on. Ask him to resign from Park. If he was a good person, if he was a decent man, he'd do it. Thanks for listening.
Deserve it all, Branch.
Maybe because that's what I would expect from somebody else. Do unto others.
Well, if I may, through the chair, you're bringing a knife to a gunfight. These guys are playing for keeps. Do you know what they have to gain if this goes through? Millions is right. And by the way, if he ever did resign, you know where he'd end up? Probably in Pearson, making a 7-figure salary. Don't cry for Mr. Chester. He's going to land on his feet. You know? And if he failed, let's put it the other way. What if he failed? These guys' careers are on the line. How can you have objectivity with so much to gain and so much to lose? You can't. The truth is you can't. You're right, Tom. You know it. You're a decent person. I love that about you. I like that about all of you. But guys, we're playing for keeps here. They sure are playing for keeps. And they're playing us for fools. You know what? They don't even care that they lie to us. You know why? Because I heard it tonight. Well, there might be retribution. Guys, that should tell you that's why we need to do this. Because you're afraid that if we take some action against something that we feel is wrong, that there might be retribution. Do you know that I had Mitchell Chester's second in command call up the superintendent to ask about me? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They said all good things.
He asked about me. What is this? What? It's America, right? It is America. I can have a difference of opinion. I can be outspoken about that opinion without having to. Mitchell Chester he's going to have one of his second in command call my superintendent to ask about me. You think you're going to get a response from Deval Patrick? I didn't get a call from Mitchell Chester to say, hey Dave, let's go for a cup of coffee. What's your problem? It's not going to happen. They are so disdainful of you, of the parents, of the teachers. They have a singular agenda, and they are ramming it down our throats, baby. It's coming. You know, we can sit here a year from now and say, geez, maybe we should have done something. We can sit here 5 years from now and say, geez, how come all we ever get to talk about are turf fields? Because we have nothing to do with the curriculum. We have nothing to do with teacher evaluations. We have nothing to do with hiring superintendents. That's coming. You can see it. You've been here long enough. I'm not making this stuff up. I don't want to take these kind of actions. Their actions require me to do this. Require me. I could go on. I really do respect your opinion. And I know when you vote against this, you're going to vote against it because you're good and decent people. But you know what? Evil flourishes when good people do nothing. That's true. Sure. I move that the following correspondence be sent to Governor Deval Patrick, Mitchell Chester, the Board of Education, the State Ethics Commission, and the Attorney General of Massachusetts. We believe the decision of whether to abandon MCAS, a test which is a fundamental element of the 1993 Ed Reform Act that has led to the unprecedented improvement in student achievement in Massachusetts, in favor of PARCC, a test which may hold promise but is as yet unproven and theoretical, is one of critical importance. We believe also that this monumental decision demands objectivity, fairness, and impartial scrutiny of empirical data to determine the outcome. We believe that Mitchell Chester, by virtue of his role as the national chair of the PARCC Governing Board and other actions, represents a breach of trust which is at odds with his primary duties and responsibilities, and at the very least gives the impression of bias towards PARCC and compromises the decision-making process. Therefore, the Peabody School Committee, by a majority vote, asks Mitchell Chester, Governor Patrick, the Board of Education, State Ethics Commission, and the Attorney General to render their opinion on this matter. So moved.
Second.
You heard the motion by Mr. McGeaney, seconded by Mrs. Dunn. On the motion? I looked right.
So now you do. You already knew I was done.
Roll call vote, please. Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I just make one correction?
Yeah.
It read, therefore, the Peabody School Committee by a majority vote. Can we please change that to a unanimous vote?
Without objection.
And one last thing, if I may, to my fellow proud dissenters. We're all in it together now, guys. I want to read something that meant a lot to me when I was labeled dissenter. And it's a quote by Dwight Eisenhower. Here in America, we are descended in blood and in spirit from revolutionists and rebels, men and women who dare to dissent from accepted doctrine. As their heirs, may we never confuse honest dissent with disloyal subversion. Well said.